Wow, what a good start to a stream. I inhaled too deeply right next to a fursuit head, and we all know that's a level 17 health violation. What am I talking about? Don't inhale next to your fursuit. It's dangerous. I know no one's here yet, but people will join soon. I know I said I was gonna give him teeth, and then I tried, and it was too hard, so I'm not. he's toothless. I'm also kind of upset because, and I said this too, I was like, I hope once I fur him that the moving jaw still works as well. And, like, it doesn't. I knew it wasn't going to, but, like, it doesn't work without seeing my face. I mean, I'll have to make, like, a balaclava, or I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to make a, see, it doesn't work as well. I mean, it does work. It does work. Oh god, his beak looks dirty already. How does his beak look dirty already? Ah! I'm gonna get in trouble. I just screamed so loud. But, you can see so much of my face, because his mouth goes back to here, which is my cheekbone. So, like, and I can't flip his beak inside out anymore. It just doesn't work. I need to give him a bath already. Why is this, like, I haven't been using marker this whole time to avoid getting the yellow dirty. But I'm very upset that the moving jaw doesn't work as well. I mean, yes, it moves when I move my mouth, but I feel like it doesn't work as well as when it was a foam base, and that's upsetting. But I mean, it's a given. When you make a moving jaw with foam, it's never going to work as well as it would if it was resin. Also, since sewing his beak, it, like, presses down on my nose! And I can't breathe. Okay. So his face is actually glued down, and so is his beak. His beak is obviously outlined. All of his orifices are sewn. Whoa. I have fursuit vision, even though he doesn't have mesh in his eyes yet. But yeah, all of his orifices are sewn. So, like, his eyes and the inside of his mouth. The inside of his mouth, I don't know why it took so long to sew. It was infuriating. I was listening to like, r/Let's Not Meet stories, and the whole time, like, I'm sewing his mouth, and it took literally an hour. Something that usually takes me like a good 20 minutes took me an hour. I had to re-sew certain parts like 3 times. Oh, it was stressing, and now you can see threads because of it. But I mean, you can always see it, but like here it makes me. You finished my fan art. Send it to me on any of my social media. You know where to find them. So I'm going to be patterning the rest of him now. Was it on stream that I broke my foam head? I think it was. She's still broken. I was gonna try and work on, where is it? I gave the pre-made that I was making a couple streams ago, I gave him a nose today, and I actually gave him a pickable nose that, like, I'll just show y'all. I'm gonna find it. Oh, he's on the floor. I gave him, I was gonna try and finish his head today, but then I was like, I don't want to, that's a lot of work. But that's what I'm going to be trying to do for Tokoyami, which arguably is more work. I also don't have enough black fleece. I'm talking like a million miles a minute, and I apologize for that. I'm just like, because I just actually sat down to finish working, like, to be done, because I was so frustrated with his mouth, and then I was sitting there, and I was like, I need to finish him. My conscience will be dirty and sinful if I don't finish him, like, now. But I gave him a nose, and instead of going, pickable nose going in like I usually do, I made it go across this way, because I wanted to try it, and it's a lot easier, but I don't like how it feels. It's not my favorite, but there's no going back now. I mean, I could undo this all, but I'm not going to I'm not going to undo a couple hours of work. So, yeah, he's got a schnoz now. But, yeah, I don't have enough black fleece for his mouth, but I need black fleece in general because I have a commission. I don't have money. So, I have all of my commissions. I have a Black Friday sale going on right now. but no one's buying anything. I haven't gotten commissions in like 2 months, and that's a problem. Everything is 20% off right now. So if you want to commission me for art or fursuit parts, not regular fursuits are not on sale, but like say like hand paws sleeves, feet paws, tails, and then maybe bodysuits or legs. Those are all 20% off right now, and it's 20% off the quoted price. So say if you want to commission me for paws and I quote you, say you want plush paws and I quote you $250, it would be 20% off of the quoted price. Hand paws, it's $75 for flat paws, $150 for puffy, and then $250 for plush, I believe. All of the prices are on my business account on Instagram. So if you want to see that, you're not gonna ever find any hand paws for under for cheap. They're extremely hard to make, honestly. Hand paws are like the biggest pain. Okay, we're just going to shove this lady inside his head because I don't want to tape him up without a head inside. Alright. Look how good he is. I'm honestly so proud of him. Why is his face different shapes? Like his eyes. I mean, that won't matter once I put eyeballs on him. But, oh jeez. Oh god, I'm so excited to finish him. Alright, let's tape him up. What side do I want to tape? This is like slightly crooked, which is going to be a pain. But it shouldn't be a problem. I say that very hesitantly. I'm going to maybe cut this so it's more centered. Is that all I needed to do? Is that it? Whatever. Okay. So yeah, all of this, what I have right now is glued down right now. So I always do that. That's actually how, like this dude, he's glued. I always glue the faces and then do everything else because it's easier for me than gluing an entire thing on, especially with these. And before I was going to back all of them like this, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to tape it like it has the backing like that, and then just make it taut because that's a lot of foam that I don't want to waste. He's on my thumb right now because there's a hole in the styrofoam head. Anyway, okay, let me actually get to doing this. See, I have some dilemmas because let me plug this back in because the foam spikes, they're slightly uneven in some spots when I was making them. One of them I had made even, but it seems to have come undone. So I think I'm just going to glue that back up real quick. I'm going to have to wait for this to heat back up. But in the meantime, I'll tape up what is even. Yeah, I'll do it on this side since I have like a point of reference. I got blood drawn yesterday. That was pretty fun. And by fun, I mean it was getting my blood drawn. It was crazy because I literally, it took longer in the waiting room because I showed up because I had to fast for it, and I woke up literally 10 minutes before or 15 minutes before my appointment, and then went there, and I was like, and I got there like 10 minutes before my appointment, and so I was like, oh, I'll be in there in a snack or whatever, and then I was in the waiting room for like almost 30 minutes, and I was like, well, that's annoying. I got up so I didn't have to wait because I was so hungry, and actually I ended up messing up my stomach by not eating, because now I can't eat without it being painful, but it took less time to draw my blood than it did in the waiting room, and I hate that. It makes me angry. Anyway, what are y'all saying in the comments? if I want feet paws to have his slippers. That's a mood. My feet paws are giant though, so they would make horrible slippers. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. I never had to fast before getting blood drawn. That's surprising. Usually you have to, so there's nothing skewing your blood sugar levels or anything like that. Why do you only have one gauge in your ear? Because this one doesn't let me stretch it. I used to be 00 in both ears, and they got extremely infected, so much so that the infection spread to my brain, and I was like super dumb for a little while. Like, I'm not even joking. So I had just stretched them up, and then I had gone to my job, which was working with dogs, which was a very dirty job, and putting in new gauges, it's they should be sterile, and I didn't even think about that. I had stretched them very unsafely the first time. I skipped, and I would just jam them in there, no matter if I bled or whatever, which is really unsafe. And so I had gone to work, and then they were really red but I was like, oh, I just stretched them, it's fine. 3 days passed, they're still really red, and I was like, I don't know why they're still really red, and I can't spin them, because when you get a new piercing, they say to spin it every so often, so all the nasty gunk doesn't pile up. And what? He's explained this every stream. I've never explained this. I've never explained why I have one gauge. Or if I have, I've only done it in one stream before. But, anyway, they got really, yeah, I've only explained it in one stream. I remember explaining it in the stream. They got really infected. And I was so stubborn. I was like, no, I'll just let them heal. And I actually tried to take one out a little bit, and it was like pussy, and I was like gross. And I was like, I'll just leave it in, just let it heal. And I was like spraying it with saline, but the saline wasn't getting into where the infection was, because the taper was in the way, so it couldn't get in there. And I was like, oh, everything's fine, I'll just and then I started getting I was always feverish, and I was getting headaches, and then I got really stupid. I was so dumb. I got so dumb out of nowhere. And well, let's try not to bring up that topic that made this had to be taken down before. What are you talking about? What? But and so I go to my mom, and I'm like, I think they're infected, and she goes, okay, we'll try to take them out. And so I remember even doing this the last time I explained this on stream. And so I had the taper in, and I go like this to push it out like it's a surgical, like a syringe, and I push it out just a little bit, and just pus pours out of it. And I start sobbing. I'm like, I don't want to take it out. Ah! And she goes, no, you have to take it out, or else you're gonna die. And I was like, ah! And so I take it out, then I take the other one out, and I'm like, ah! It's bleeding, and there's pus everywhere. And then we go to urgent care, and the lady was so mean, because she had to swab it for culture to make sure that it was just pus, which is a buildup of white blood cells, and not a bacterial infection or anything. And so she takes the swab, and she takes my ear, and not gently swabbing it and cleaning it, she goes, and I'm like, ah! It hurt so bad because it was raw in there. Oh my god. And I was like, ow. She goes, yeah, see, that's what you get for modifying your body like that. It's so. And I was like, what? I was like, don't be so rude, doctor. She was an old lady, so it's she seems like the kind of person who would also get upset if someone had tattoos. But so I was on antibiotics and painkillers and stuff. I was dumb for the next week or so. I was it was crazy. Moral of the story is, if you decide to stretch your ears, wait months in between each stretch. It's so important that you wait for it to heal completely. So much so, you should wait until it heals completely. So if you take your taper out for a certain amount of time, because if you know your hole's not, that sounds gross, you know it's not completely healed, that if you take your taper out for, or whatever you have in there, for a certain amount of time and you go to put it back in and your hole is starting to close up a little bit, that's how you know it's not healed. This is 2G, I've had 2G for 6 to 8 months. Like, the bigger in size you get, the longer you should wait in between. So, like, for instance, the smaller size, like going from like 16 to 14, 14 to 12, those ones I'd say wait like 3 months in between. It really depends. Like, those ones, it's not a big deal because there's not a difference at all in size pretty much. I mean, there is, but it's such a small difference. But once you, are you kidding me? Oh. But once you get up to the bigger sizes, like, I have a 0G that I have tried to put in my ear, but it won't go in. And if you go to put it in and it hurts, then don't keep trying. You take it out and you either get bondage tape, which is tape that it's safe for the skin and it sticks to itself, but like, not your skin. Use that to put it around and slowly build it up. Another way to do it is get silicone tunnels and put them in and just like fold it up and then just wait for it to slowly expand. I recommend that for when you get like above 0, which I've never been above 0. I don't plan on ever going above 0, but I plan on stopping at 0. But there's also between 2G and 0, there's a 1G, which I need to get, but I don't have money, so that's not happening. But that's why I just always have a taper in. Like, I have my bright green one in that I've had in for literally since I've stretched out my ear, but I thought putting in this one would be different because the acrylic harbors bacteria. So it's good to take them out and wash them with like alcohol every once in a while just to make sure they're clean. But yeah. If you plan on, oh yeah, but when I went to go start stretching my ears again, this one went fine, but this one, I put it in and it immediately started bleeding, so I was like, okay, I'll just stretch the one. Now you could be saying, Bug, why don't you just not stretch your ears at all? Well, I want it, and so I'm doing it. Plus, it's a good way to mark my characters when, like, say if they're a self-Sona. Like, for instance, like, Lily, one of her ears on her left side, one of her ears is chopped off, and then the other one has a bite in it because it's the same ear as this. Phlegm, he has an ear with a bite out of it, same ear as this. A character of mine used to only have a taper in this ear. It's a good way to characterize characters. What? And then I have 2 piercings in this ear. One, actually, my second hole I did myself to prove a point to someone because he had gotten his ears pierced, and the person was like, you have to wait 6 months before you can change the piercings, and I was like, are they dumb? Like, no. He's like, I went to a piercing shop though. I was like, no, you're fine after 3 weeks. When it comes to like a regular piercing, especially if it's like a, you know, just a regular 18 or 16 gauge, you're fine after, you know, 3 to 4 weeks, after a month. And so to prove a point, I pierced my own ear because I had a piercing ear. Well, actually, not anymore. I lost it. And now, the last earring I have is now on my tongue ring. But to prove a point, I pierced my own ear, which is my second hole, and I was like, just wait. This was back in December, November of last year. I was like, just wait. I'll prove to you that it heals in 3 to 4 weeks' time. And he was like, I don't think you're right. And I was like, well, I know I'm right because I've had my ears pierced a bunch of times. And so I pierced my own ear while on call with him, and I was like, you write down this day in your calendar, and in a month, I'll tell you if it's healed or not. And he's like, okay, what? So a month later, he measured me, and I take it out. Yep, it's healed. And the way you know it's healed or not is if you take it out, and with just a regular piercing, if you take it out and then leave it out for a week and the hole doesn't close, it's healed. he took his earrings out because I proved my point. He's like, I just didn't want them to get infected. I'm like, they're not gonna get infected. Unless you, like, open them back up and rub dirt in them. I really want to get more piercings. I just don't have the money for it. Like, I want to get a vertical labret, which is, it comes through the top. Instead of, like, being a normal labret where it just goes through, like, right here, it comes through the top, and so the piercing sits, like, in the middle of your lip. I want one of those. And then I want, a septum ring, and then both sides of my nose pierced. Although I don't know if that would look good. I at least want a septum ring, though. But, yeah. I also just want more piercings on my ears. On this ear, I don't think I'll get more piercings. If I do, it would be something up here, but this ear I want, like, decked out. Because on this ear, it's just going to be stretched. So it would be weird if I just had a bunch of other stuff. I feel like it would be too much. Yeah. Ouch. What are you talking about? Piercings, tattoos, anything else? You want to nose hoops? My sister got her nose pierced, here, and she got her septum pierced. And she got, actually, once she turned 18, she got, like, so many piercings, and it's funny because almost all of them got infected. And then she went to work for Disney anyway, so she can't have piercings. Like, they can't even have, like, little earrings here. Like, I mean, if you're just an employee, like, in a shop, you can, but you're not allowed to have any other piercings. You can just have little tiny studs. But if you're, like, a fur character or a princess or any character, you can't. They have really strict rules at Disney when it comes to body mods. Which, like, I get why, but it's also, like, dumb. That's actually how my last job was. They were really strict on body mods. It was a movie theater. Like, they were like, you can't have dyed hair unless it's a natural color. But they were like, but as long as it's a natural color, it can be as crazy as you want. And I was like, that's stupid. That still doesn't look professional. Like, one of my managers had half black and half bleach, like, almost white hair. That's not professional. You couldn't have showing tattoos. You couldn't have piercings. I still kept this in. Actually, at the time, I had a plug-in. Like, and they're like, no, you can't have showing tattoos or anything. One of my managers, she had the dermals here, and then she had a bunch of tattoos on her chest too, and they were always showing. And I was like, you're the manager. You're the one who's yelling at us for, like, I legitimately, my first day, I had a taper, and they're like, you can't have that. And I was like, but she literally has 3 dermal piercings showing right here. Oh, but she's the manager. You know, whatever. That job was terrible. I hated that job so much. It made me, actually, because of the food smells, and this is why I can't work in food service, because of the food smells, I got sick so often, like, I was nauseous, like, all the time, and it sucked. The people there were really nice. There's, like, a couple coworkers that I really miss, and it's weird, though, because I like, we had each other's number, but we never texted. Like, they would invite me out to go play. Like, they would be like, oh, we're planning on going to Corners tonight. You want to come? Oh, here's my number so you can text me. And they would never text me. And I'm like, well, did they go and just not invite me? Did they forget? Do they not like me? You know. I probably would have said no anyway, though, because I just don't leave the house. But, like, still. You've got Crohn's and he's strong. See, lately, I know that well, if I had Crohn's, I would have known about it way earlier in my life. But it's how I am, like, because I have such bad, like, my stomach issues, I can't eat a lot of foods. It's, like, kind of like how Crohn's is, where you can't eat certain foods because of how it affects your intestines. My intestines are fine. It's like once my stomach, like, it's like it hits my stomach's like angry, and then everything's fine after that. The other thing is I have a bad loss of appetite. Like, I'll feel hungry, then go to eat, and then the smell of food, I'll immediately be like, ew, disgusting. But I'll continue eating it sometimes, and then my stomach screams. Or the worst thing is when I'm hungry, I know I'm hungry. The food smells delicious. I put it in my mouth, it tastes delicious, but sometimes I physically can't swallow because of how my stomach feels. That's the worst feeling ever. It's literally, I've been reduced to, before I was reduced to eating bean burritos, soup and toast. Now I can't even eat bean burritos. I don't know, I haven't had soup in a hot minute, but now I'm reduced to toast, and I can't eat jam anymore, it's too acidic. I eat apples, but I can't eat green apples anymore. They're too acidic. They destroy my stomach. It literally feels like they're like someone punches me in the gut almost, but like not like from the outside, but from the inside. You know. Why did I turn the glue gun on? Oh yeah. God. Okay. Everything's fine. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my stomach. Like, okay, for instance, I used to love eating Indian food because it's a lot of fun flavors, and it's all vegetarian, or mostly all vegetarian. Okay. I want this stay. Hold on. I need to pick up the glue gun before it burns a hole in the carpet. What was I saying? Oh, Indian food. That's actually when my stomach issues I first noticed them, because I have such a plain diet. I don't eat a lot of foods because A, I can't afford a lot of foods, and B, I don't have a lot of food options in this household. And so my mom made Indian food one night, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna get me some masala, I'm gonna curry the heck up. And so I make my bowl of curry, and I start eating it, and I'm like, ooh, tastes delicious in my mouth, and then I couldn't swallow, and I was like, well, this is a problem, and I start forcing myself to swallow, and my stomach, it felt like I had rocks in my stomach, but I was also so nauseous, and I was like, maybe it's the spices. I'm like, but no, spicy food has never bothered me. I love spicy food, and Indian food's not even spicy. It's just has spices. It just has that masala mix of spices. So it's not like it was, hot spicy. It was just spices. And so I was so confused, and then I slowly learned certain foods destroyed my stomach, and then and the thing is, I get really bad hiccups, I get really bad acid reflux, and it sucks because I'm emetophobic, so I hate being nauseous, I hate everything about throwing up, and so I get these stomach issues and I just want to die. It's literally the worst. It's so bad, but literally now all I eat, and I can't even eat miso ramen anymore. I just eat miso ramen as my lunch almost every day if we had it. But now I can't eat it. I made miso ramen. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday after my blood test, because I ate toast when I came home. Oh, I ate toast, and my stomach was like, you haven't eaten in over 24 hours, so it was under 24 hours, but you haven't eaten in a day, so food is a no-go. And I was like, no, but I need to, or else I'll die. So the toast hurt me, but I was like, okay, that's just because I haven't eaten in a while. And then I was like, later on I was hungry, and I was like, okay, let me eat. Oh, there's miso ramen, that's easy to make. So I made some miso ramen, and I let it sit for literally 40 minutes before I was like, oh yeah, I need to eat this. And so I pick it up and I start eating it, and I'm like I literally have it to my mouth. I'm like, I don't want this. My stomach's like, feed me, Seymour! And I'm like, but I don't want it. Sorry. And it sucks. So I start eating it, and then my stomach's like, I didn't want this though. And so then I'm dying, and I finish it. Because here's the thing, I don't have a lot of money, so I hate wasting food. So I finish it, and then I die. which it sucks because it puts me out of commission for like half a day, which means I lose half a day of work. It really sucks. So now all I eat is toast, sandwiches, which is toast because I toast all my sandwiches. Who eats raw bread? Ew. And apples and peanut butter, but not green apples, only like sweet apples. And peanut butter and hummus is the only protein I get, which sucks because they're both incomplete proteins. So I've been malnourished for a while, because I'm a vegetarian and I'm poor, so I have a very poor diet. I have low. Actually, I'll find out next Wednesday if I do have low iron, but I don't have all the proper nutrients to function completely normally. I'm very low on certain things, like especially vitamin D, because I don't go outside. But I was supposed to mention my stomach issues because I saw someone in the comments being like, "Doctor," and it's like, yes, I know. I was supposed to mention my stomach issues when I went to the doctor last week, but then the doctor started asking me triggering questions, and I couldn't speak anymore. I just kind of left the planet for a little while until the appointment was over. You're welcome for that. He just straight up really picky. I was really picky as a kid just because, like, textures scare me. Not that they scare me. Like, for instance, my mom made banana muffins the other day, and they're so delicious, but they're in a container so the ants don't get them, and now they're wet and squishy, so I won't eat them. I literally got one last night, and I started eating it, and I was like, this is disgusting. Why is it wet? Why is it mushy? Yeah, there's 5 whole bananas in this recipe. I get it, but it's disgusting now. Tastes delicious, but it's disgusting. And I threw it outside for the gross. Eating just, like, isn't fun for me. It's never been fun for me. It was a coping mechanism when I was young. Now it's, like, just a painful experience. But I love food. Do you see my dilemma? Like, that's why I watch a lot of food shows on YouTube. Like, I watch, like, chefs, and I watch people who go to different countries and try a bunch of foods. Like, they're my favorite things. Like, Guy Fieri, that's my jam right there. Like, that kind of show where they go to different places and try all the food. Even if it's meat. Like, that's how I get my fill of meat and, like, fish and dairy, because I'm lactose intolerant as well. I might as well be vegan, but I don't brand myself as vegan because I still like ice cream because, first off, lactose-free ice cream is disgusting. I accidentally bought lactose-free ice cream a little while ago, and it was so bad. It tasted like malted, and it was so gross. Until recently, I actually could handle dairy. It was fine until a little while ago. I decided to put some cheese on my sandwich, and I was like, this tastes delicious. And then immediately after, my stomach was like, oh, you think it's delicious? Well, how about this? And, like, my stomach seized up. Because, like, I wish I got, like, the normal symptoms for lactose intolerance, but my stomach just seizes up, and I just get pains for a while, and then it goes away. If I eat too much dairy in a day, it's complete bowel destruction, though. But, also, vegans don't eat honey, and I love honey. Also, eggs. I mean, I don't eat a lot of eggs, but, like, eggs are, like, the only source of protein I ever get, even if it's occasional. But, American eggs creep me out, because they're just so bright yellow. Egg yolks should be, like, orange, not yellow. Anyway, what are y'all saying? I had a really bad eating disorder when I was younger. Before I was diagnosed, I couldn't eat anything, and I would get in trouble for not eating, so it was an eating / I feel that. I had a binge eating disorder when I was, younger. As a coping mechanism, I would just, like, eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat some more. And then I would hate myself, but then I would eat more because I hate myself. Is that a pin in your face? Did I glue a pin under the fur? Or is that glue? No, it's glue. Okay, thank God. I was gonna kill myself. I've done that once before. I didn't know a pin was in the foam. Like, it wasn't anywhere that it was on a personal suit as well, but it wasn't anywhere that it would stab. It was on an ear. But there was a pin that I had glued under the fur because it was in the foam and I didn't realize, and it was like pushed all the way in. And I had glued the fur on, and then I was feeling, and I was like, what is that ball? So I took the fur off, and there was a pin under there. I was like, okay, lit. Oh, also, I filmed a video the other day. Was it yesterday or the day before? I filmed a video recently, and it's about furries versus otherkin, and I'm really excited to edit it. I was going to edit it the day that I made it, but then I didn't, and I don't know why, but that's going to be coming out in the next couple weeks, depending on how long it takes for me to edit it. So it all depends on how lazy I am. That's why I don't make regular content. I'm just too lazy. You used to be otherkin when you were 8. Oh, jeez. And the reason I actually made this video is because I had a TikTok that I made go pretty crazy on Instagram. It has like over 11,000 views now. Doesn't duct tape rip the phone? No. Duct tape's not that strong. Like literally, it here. Let me show you this one. It literally peels right off. But yeah, it has like 11,000 views, and it's literally just a TikTok of like me throwing a little Gudetama at a piece of paper that says furries don't deserve hate and should be respected, and then I hit down that piece of paper, and then it's like, JK LOL, we should all be murdered. 11,000 views, and now there's a bunch of normies coming to it being like, I'm cool with furries and whatever, but I just don't understand why they want to be animals. It's like, we don't want to be animals. That's otherkin and Therians. And like, in the video I talked about how a lot of furries don't even identify as their fursona, they just identify with their fursona. And I go into a whole talk about kinning with characters and like why I have 7 Sonas. Because I have 7 Sonas. I have Lily, Damien, Flem, Kiwi, Bruno, Ame, and Junebug. It's a lot. But I also have characters besides them, but I consider them Sonas because they're the only ones I want suits of. Well, technically I have one more character that I would want a suit of, but I just don't ever foresee me getting a suit of her because I feel like if I got a suit of her, it would be really controversial, but I just also don't connect with her more. But I connect with you're not a Sona, I'm sorry, you're Tokoyami, but I connect with all of my Sonas because they all mean something to me and they all represent a different part of me. Well, except for Junebug. She doesn't represent really any part of me. I mean, maybe she does. You know what? I just love her a lot. I have a problem making way too many Sonas, but I do. Yeah, there's no problem with like having a lot of Sonas. Ooh, and you know what? Fun fact. I've been told that I am a fake. I don't want to say this out loud. I've been told that I'm not a real man because I have more female characters than male characters. I have 4 female characters and 3 male characters, or Sonas. I think that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Just because I have, Kiwi, Ame, Junebug, and Lily, and then Bruno, Damien, and Flem. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. But, and then when you go to characters, I have Rex, Harley, and Weevil. I think those are the only 3. Which Weevil's non-binary, they don't have a gender. Rex is a male. And then Harley's a girl. I love Harley so much. She's like the character that I love the most that's not a Sona. She's got 3 pups. And she's a bowling champion. She didn't want the 3 pups. They weren't expected. It was an unfortunate one-night stand, but she loves them anyway. Like, even though they weren't planned, she loves them. It was a happy accident. And the pups' names are Timmy, Ella, and Noah. They're bull terriers. I've had that character for 2 years. She got a revamp last year, or earlier this year, I think. And that's when she became a mom. Because technically, she is a lesbian. But she had an experience. It wasn't a negative experience. It was just an experience. Quick question. From a trans dude, can't read. From a trans dude to another one. How does having female Sona not make you dysphoric? Because it doesn't. I cosplay girls as well. It just doesn't bother me. See, here's the thing. I've always been a very ambiguous person. I was non-binary for a very long time, but being non-binary didn't feel right, because even though I was like, call me they, them, people would just say she, her. I mean, not that people actually respect my pronouns now, but that's beside the point. It just doesn't bother me, because I'm not me. They're not me. When I'm getting into suit, I'm their character. It's not like they represent who I am. And say if I'm at a con and someone's calling the suit she, and then I get out and they continue calling me that, I'll just correct them. It's not a big deal to me. Once I go full transformation and become a lumberjack dad, I'm going to become a lumberjack dad that, like, what's his face? I'm not gonna say his actual name because I don't want to swear on stream, but Butt Wolf, or ASS Wolf, on Twitter. He's like the perfect example of like the kind of guy I want. He wears like fishnets and booty shorts in public, and he's like such an icon. Because I'm not like a feminist. Fun fact, but and I'm not gonna be like, oh, anyone can, gender roles, whatever. I don't care about gender roles. They exist, and who cares if they exist? I don't care about gender norms or anything like that. But I don't. So I don't really care what I dress like. I don't really, I know what I am, and I'm not going to let my character define me. If I cosplay a female, I'm playing a character. I'm not me, I maybe it's because I was in theater for so long. I was in theater up until my junior year in high school, so maybe it's because I was in theater and I never had a problem. I mean, back then I was still a lady, but I never had a problem playing a male character. Well, now I know why, but I didn't have a problem playing a female character either. It doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, that was a really long-winded explanation for just it just doesn't. I don't understand why people get on non-binary people's, or I've never really seen it happen, but it's always on, people get on trans dudes' cases when they have a female Sona being like, doesn't that give you dysphoria? Oh, you're a too cute just because you have a female Sona. And it's like, well, that's dumb. You see all these cis females out here with male Sonas, but you're not saying, ooh, are you making fun of trans people by having a male Sona? No, actually that did happen. There was a person who had there was a person who was a female who had a trans male Sona, and a lot of people were like, that's not okay. And I was on the fence, because it's like, well, it's the character, but she was getting all this I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Lily, for instance, she was a female at first, now she's a hermaphrodite. So my main Sona was a boy in the first place, then a girl. They may be non-binary, but I don't know. So, Bug, how did you first get into was it Cacti Mutt? Yes, it was. How did you first get into the furry community? Back in the day, 2013, I wasn't a furry back then. Well, my Halloween costume in 2013 was a wolf, and I bought stuff from like Paw Star and stuff, but I didn't like know what like furries were really, but I had seen them on my Tumblr feed and stuff. That was my first exposure to furries, and then in 2015, I had a job and I had money, and so I had seen videos of skull suits, and I was like, I want that, and then I bought that, and then I made that. So that's really it. Nothing too fancy. It's not like, I don't know, but I really enjoy making suits. I wish that I could be a successful fursuit maker. I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't get any commissions. But you know, I can dream. My main problem is I work fast only on projects that I'm like pumped for. For instance, Tokoyami. I started making him earlier this week, and he's already like almost done. Same with like the pre-made. I did his like entire face basically in one night. But pre-mades, or not pre-mades, well actually pre-mades do usually take me a hot second because it's like, I dread making the parts for it. That wasn't a sneeze, that was me coughing. But like commissions take me a hot minute, but at the same time, I don't want to rush on them because, for instance, I rushed on this pre-made because I was like, oh, I need to get it out because I need money. And he's got, you know, quite a bit of bald spots on him. His shaving's kind of nasty, and that's actually preventing me from wanting to work on him because he looks bad, in my opinion. That's actually the reason I kept Amai. She was supposed to be a pre-made, and everyone was so pumped for her. And then I finished her, and I was like, I hate how she looks. I mean, I love how she looks, but I hate how she looks at the same time. It, like, for instance, it's just not a product I would want to sell. And that's why I usually take so long on commissions. And when I say it takes so long, before it was also because I had a queue, but like, it usually takes me a good month to 3 months to make a head because I want it to look good. I don't want it to look bad. I redid someone's head 3 times because I didn't like how it looked the first 2 times. Like, I want my product that goes to a customer to look good. So, I mean, and people are so, like, dumb when it comes to, like, wait times. Like, it's in my TOS that my suits take a hot second, and I feel like that is a reason that people don't want to commission. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's because, see, I've also had a lot of people tell me my prices are too high, but I know that they're not because for all the work that I do, all the work that I put into my suits, they're absolutely the right price. It's like, I've been making suits for 3 years now. My prices earlier this year, heads were $300. And then I made a couple heads that were, you know, exceeding my, you know, current quality, and then I realized, I was like, I can't keep selling suits for this. I put too much time and effort into these suits. Because before I would glue certain things together, but now I sell literally everything, and I'm like, I can't keep selling suits for this price for all the work that I put into them. So I upped my prices, and since I've upped my prices, I haven't gotten a single commission, unless it was a discounted emergency commission, which I got 2, which were $100 off, and no, it was a base price, so no matter what design the character was, it would stay $500. But since I've made my head $600 and my partials $850, I've gotten no commissions whatsoever, and that sucks. It sucks so hard. Same with my art commissions. Since I upped my art prices, I've only been getting icon commissions, which are $10, which is weird because they're not the cheapest thing on my art list. The cheapest thing on my art list are sketches, but no one ever commissions me for sketches, which is weird. Because I feel like people usually want to, you know, buy just the cheapest thing possible, unless, like, they're looking to spend money on art. But, like, say, like, if I'm like, hey, I need food, who wants to commission me? People are all just like, oh, let me just get a $10 icon, and that's it. But I don't get commissions anymore. I used to get commissions whenever I needed food, but now I don't get commissions at all, and it's upsetting because I've had literally $5 in my account for the past, like, 2 months. I haven't gotten commission in 2 months. The last money I got was for shipping, and I don't make any profit off of shipping. It's just buyer pays for shipping. Actually, someone bought me a Froppy plush, but that wasn't my money. They bought it for me, which was so nice of them. Like, it hurt my heart, because I was like yelling about how much I love her, and they're like, let me buy that for you, and I was like, I'll draw you. I actually, for something that's $25 in value, I'm drawing them $50 worth of art, because, like, that's so sweet that they would buy me that. What are you saying? It sucks that I can't buy anything. Yeah, it sucks that no one buys anything for me. Like, that's why I want to make a premium, but I also have a commission to do, but I'm also working on Tokoyami because I just want to get him done so I just can stop thinking about him. And I tried to sell Bruno a couple times just because I needed money, but, like, anytime I would sell him, I'm like, no, I don't want to sell him. But I'm like, well, if he sells, then I'll have money and then it'll be fine. Because he's out of all of my attachment to, but I still have such a large attachment to him, even after the whole debacle I went through with him. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, I talked about it in his unboxing video. It's on my channel. But, like, what was I saying? But no one bought him. Someone was like, oh, I'll buy him after I get Christmas money. I'm like, and I first put him up for sale in, like, September, and I was like, okay. Which, like, I have a Black Friday event going on, and I was like, oh, I'll get commissions, but I've got nothing, and it sucks so much. I want to be able to buy myself food again. What's the environment like at cons? I'm a younger minor. Make sure if you're a minor, have a parent with you. Of course, I mean, you can't be in a con space without a parent if you're a minor. If you're under 13, you need a parent accompanying you. If you're 13, you need a parent with you, or at least a guardian that the parent signed off on. But if you're a minor, I definitely recommend being with a group that you trust. Don't go into a con space alone if you're a minor, because you never know who's lurking. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of nasty people in this fandom, as we've seen. Cough, cough, Kira the Wolf. I mean, and there's a bunch of other people in this fandom, obviously, but, like, ooh, like, for instance, Growly. He's another one who, he is a convicted sex offender. And I have a story about him. He's been at both Califers I've been to, and so first Califer, he didn't do anything at the first Califer, but he was just there, and I was very cautious of him because I was a minor at the time, and all of my friends that I was around were minors, obviously. And there was a person there who didn't have a suit, but they had a badge with a gray squirrel on it, and they were hitting on 13-year-olds, and it was, like, after he had found out they were 13, because he was in the Headless Lounge just sitting there, even though he didn't have a suit, which, if you see someone in the Headless Lounge that doesn't have a suit, and you see them go into the Headless Lounge without a suit, and you see them leave the Headless Lounge without a suit, be very aware. Be very, very aware. And so he goes up to my friend and was like, oh, how old are you? Like, oh, I like your suit, how old are you? And he was like, 13. And he goes, oh, okay, and then starts flirting with him. And it's like, this is a con space. There's con staff here, and there's actually, like, this is Pomona, there's police, down the street. Like, why would you do that? And we reported to con staff, and they kept an eye on him. I actually don't remember what happened. But my second experience with Growly, or no, that wasn't that first. My experience with Growly, Califer 2017. Everyone had left my. I had a room booked, and before, like, literally a week before Califer started, everyone bailed on me and went to stay in a different room, and I was like, thanks, I appreciate that so much. So I was scrambling to find a room, and I was, like, posting all over social media. I was like, hey, if you have a room for Califer, and you need if you need another roomie, like, I can pay, even if it's just on the floor, like, take my money, I need somewhere to stay, because I'm not going to drive an hour and a half each day. And someone DM'd me was like, oh, I saw someone that needed people for their second room on Twitter, here's the link, and it was for Growly's playroom, and I was like, so he had a room that was all dedicated to playing. It was like a BDSM dungeon, and he just needed people to stay in there, so the con staff wouldn't confiscate the room and give it to someone else. And I was like, no thank you, I'm an adult now, but no thank you, I'd rather not. Disgusting. Like, why don't you slap some Flex Seal on Tokoyami? No, it wouldn't, because he wouldn't be soft. This fur is so soft, it feels like a cat. This is my favorite fur ever. It's so soft. But also, no. Because then he would just be a rubber mask, and we all know that those are nasty. There's only one thing that Flex Seal is good for when it comes to fursuit making, and that is plastic dipping noses. I've been doing a lot of cosplaying recently, and I'm really sad because I don't have cosplay friends anymore. I haven't had cosplay friends in a long time. Because, like, my cosplay friends before were also my furry friends, but also they didn't really take cosplaying seriously. They would just, like, oh yeah, I cosplay, but they, you know, they would just have a cosplay that they would wear, or they would just do, like, a casual cosplay, or just do they would just do characters that they could do with their natural hair or whatever. So, like, they could cosplay, like, anyone can cosplay, but they didn't cosplay, you know what I mean? Just like how anyone can fursuit, but you're not a furry, you know? I want cosplayer friends again, because, like, first off, I need friends outside the community. I don't have any friends in the community. I mean, I have, like, 2 friends in the community, but, like, barely. Like, no one that I talk to on a regular basis. I don't talk to anyone on, like, ever. Like, it's not like I wake up and text someone good morning or, like, text someone memes or anything. I don't have anyone like that. But I want cosplayer friends because I have no one to talk about cosplay with, really. Like, and that makes me sad. And I have no one to cosplay with. I mean, if I did have a cosplayer friend, they'd probably be, actually, I do have a cosplayer friend, but they live, like, nowhere near me. I saw someone ask who, okay, right now, the cosplays I have are L from Death Note. I have Eric Cartman, which I just made the beanie the other day. I literally stayed up till 2 a.m. making it because I realized, wait, I missed the one character that I am most like, and that's Eric Cartman. So I made a Cartman beanie, and it's, like, my favorite thing. I wear it all the time. I want to buy a regular one because this isn't the right color blue, but I have, oh yeah, so L from Death Note, Eric Cartman, and then Toby from, where's my Toby mask? Oh, there it is. Like Toby. And then I have, technically I can do Sasori as well. The wig, though, is really thin. Like, it's not thick. I mean, actually, you can tell, like, the size difference between the black wig and the red wig. I thought when I bought the red wig, it was the same one as the black one, just in red, but it's not. And I'm so upset. Because it's so thin, so when I cut it and tried to style it, it doesn't look good. I have a video of it on my TikTok, and it just doesn't look good. And I was actually buying that wig so I could do both Sasori and Gaara, because I wanted to do Gardener Gaara, because he has cute overalls and a cute gardening hat, and it's so cute. And then I destroyed one of my rose quartz wigs because I wanted to cut it to make it something else, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. But I have that other pink wig, so I could technically do rose quartz. I have the skirt. I have a bootleg Mr. Universe shirt that I bought for $2. But it's not, the wig just it's not good. So the pink wig that I have, the long one right here, it goes light pink to dark pink. I use that for an OC cosplay named Hana, I don't know what she is. It was just like, I was on TikTok and I saw people with OC cosplays and I was like, I want to do one. And so I did one. She's really fun to do because she's sassy and I love being sassy. And also her makeup's really fun to do, but I have to paint my entire neck black, which sucks. Because if I don't use, because I just use acrylic paint because I don't have a lot of makeup options. Because I don't own makeup anymore. I actually used to have an arsenal of makeup, but you can actually dig and find old cosplays that I've done if you want. I used to cosplay one back in the Vine days. There was like a Dreams of Vine Read cosplay, a kind of dream, and I did Insomnia because I have insomnia, and that was really, really fun because if you scrunch up your lips and then put like black eyeshadow on them and then stretch out your mouth, you have these cracks in it, which just emphasizes like nasty looking lips, and I associate that with insomnia because if you have insomnia, I associate looking disgusting because I look disgusting. Like I have the same lips. Oh, what's his name? I have a picture of him on my phone because I laughed so hard because someone commented on how crusty my lips were and I was like, oh, true. Where's my phone? Not gonna find it without the location. I literally just had it, did I not? Wasn't it just there? Am I going crazy? I was just working on Tokoyami. Oh yeah, and then obviously I'll have Tokoyami once I finish him. I have plans. Where's my phone? Oh, there it is. I have plans to do Small Night. That's one that it's gonna be such a pain because that wig. That's gonna be a wig that I'm just going to buy because, like, already styled because I don't feel like styling the mess of hair he has in the back. But yeah, I have plans to cosplay Small Night as well as Aizawa, but I plan on doing Aizawa. I'm gonna try and find a yellow sleeping bag and just be a worm. So I want to do that, and also those like apple sauce pouches because he was sucking on those when he first showed up, and I was like, mood. I really want to cosplay Present Mike, because it just gives me an excuse to be loud and annoying. But the thing is, I don't want to spend a ton of money, which is why all the cosplays I have so far are like, well, actually, the Akatsuki cloak I bought that to wear in Fursuit. It's a really cheap one because I was like, if this one rips and gets destroyed, I really don't care. When I actually go to a convention or anything, I actually plan on buying a better cosplay, a better Akatsuki cloak for cosplay, because the one I have is just, you know, a piece of garbage. But that's okay. I didn't pay a lot of money for it, and that's because that's the other thing. I plan on buying a bunch of cosplays to wear with Damien which is probably gonna be a pain. But I'll assess that once I get his suit, because he has wings and a massive tail, so it all depends on that. Oh, I also plan on cosplaying Choji. That's another one that I really want to cosplay. I still haven't decided whether I'll probably do Shippuden Choji, just because having long hair is more fun than whatever the heck his hair was in the original Naruto. And then I want to do Boruto Shino, because I love his coat with the little bugs on the lapels. But it's mostly Naruto cosplays. Ichimatsu, that's another one. I really want to do Ichimatsu. Because I am if you've ever watched Osamatsu-san and you know me, which you don't, but you'd know that I'm Ichimatsu. I used to think that I was when I first got introduced to Osamatsu-san, my friend was like, "Oh no, you're totally Osamatsu," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm Osamatsu," and he only said that because his other friend was Ichi, but his other friend like wasn't Ichi at all. It was just because he was like an edgelord and wanted to be Ichi because Ichi just says like Shine all the time, so it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But I really want to do Ichi. Plus, I feel like I always end up doing a lot of like really non-complicated cosplays. Like, oh yeah, I could just throw on a big red sweatshirt, some khakis, and a beanie, and there you go. I'm Eric Cartman. Oh, I want to be Elle. Let me just throw on a messy wig, put some eyeliner under my eyes, and throw on a white shirt, and there we go. I'm Elle. Elle is actually one of my favorites to cosplay. I don't know why, but he's really fun. Maybe it's see, that's the other thing. I only like cosplaying characters that I feel like I could do well, or that I like a lot. So for instance, like President Mike and Small Mite, I don't like relate with them at all, but I like them a lot, so I want to cosplay them. Aizawa I relate to, so I want to cosplay him. Tokoyami, Tokoyami. Literally the only reason I started to make him is because I saw cosplays of him on TikTok that were so bad, and I was like, I can do that better. And so I started making him. That's literally the only reason. But then I got an amazing idea to make Dark Shadow, and now I'm so pumped, and now I love him so much. I've been watching BNHA Funny Moments all day, which I have discovered the dub today. I'm offended by the dub voices. I am so offended by the dub voices. Bakugo doesn't sound angry anymore. He just sounds like an edgy little kid, which I guess he is, but like, there's just no like oomph behind his voice. Maybe it's, I don't know, but like, I hate how All Might sounds. I hate how Present Mike sounds the most. But the thing, I cringe so hard. So in the episode where they go to the other city to rescue Bakugo, and they change their outfits so they look like adults. So in the anime, Deku starts like yelling Are and Kore, which is like huh? Like it's like there's like a certain inflection that you put on it to when you yell it, which is like what, huh? What are you looking at? That kind of thing. But the dub, it made me cringe so hard because it was just like, huh? What are you looking at? And I was like, ow! What is that? Ew! I hate, like, it makes me cringe. It makes me cringe so, like, literally, I was like sitting there like this. I was like, what am I watching? What is? Because I watched the Funny Moments and I just let it YouTube autoplay because I was knitting at the time, and it just, I was offended. I was offended so much. Ooh, another thing I was offended by is because TikTok is opening like up the world of cringy dubs in animes because people are cosplaying these characters, then they want to do actual lines from the show, but they are, you know, American, so they don't know how to speak Japanese, so they're doing the English dub, obviously, and plus that's probably a more accessible like audio clip. But like, there's a bunch of Itachi cosplayers doing the one line where at like when it's like Itachi's like second death, where he tells Sasuke that he will always love him, which makes me sob. But Itachi's dub voice is so bad. I hate it so much. So much. Sasuke's dub voice is probably my least favorite ever. It's just, it sounds like an edgy dude in his mom's basement. Like, I don't know. I hate it so much. I just hate the dub voices in most animes. The only animes that I'm not bothered by the dubs are on High School Host Club, Space Dandy, and Death Note. I don't know why, but those are the only three that I'm not like and I think I'm not bothered by them because the way Light's voice actor in English does the lines is still very like crazy. Like, and it's not like it's a like he's good at portraying the emotions that are portrayed. While I feel like in a lot of other dubs, they just the VAs just don't portray the emotion, and it makes me angry. And the Space Dandy, I think the only reason that one doesn't bother me is because the first time I ever watched it was on Toonami on Adult Swim, so I watched it dubbed first, so it just doesn't bother me. And same with Ouran High School Host Club. I didn't watch it on Toonami, but the first time I watched it was dubbed, so I think that's the only reason. I do prefer watching it in Japanese just because I can't stand, what's his name? Blonde kid. Can't stand, not Honey, the main blonde kid. Can't stand his VA in English. It's just like he does the character well, but I just can't stand it. Because he's supposed to be annoying. But the only thing I do like about Ouran High School Host Club dub is, I don't know why, but I think it's just because I'm American, but when, what's his name? Is it Takashi? I feel like it's Takashi. Let's see, did someone say it so I don't have to look it up? No, okay. Takashi. Nope, that's Mori. Oh, what's his name? Ouran High School Host Club. What's his name? Characters. Why does it only show 3 of them? Tamaki! There we go. Tamaki. So, I think the only thing that, like, makes me laugh, in the dub is when, God, what's the other, I just looked at it. It's Kyoya. The one with the clipboard. But, when, Tamaki calls him mommy, and he calls him daddy, it's funnier in dub, because in Japanese they don't say daddy, and I think it just makes it funnier. Anyway, what's being said? Cheese nips are disgusting. They're the inferior cheese snack. We all know this. Oh wait, I was going on about my crusty lips before. What's the kid's name? I don't know why I was talking about it, but the kid from Boku no Hero who has his dead dad's hands on him. Oh no, is the screenshot? Oh, I think the screenshot's on my. It's on my. What is this called? iPad. What is his name? I don't know, but him. The hand on his face, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. But I just love how he's like, Daddy, no, when the hand gets knocked on his face. I hate him so much. I don't understand why people like him. I think Boku no Hero is like the first anime that I've ever watched where I'm like not in love with all the characters. Like, I don't know half their names. I only know the names of the ones I care about. But I could tell you the name of every single one of the characters in Naruto. Literally every single one of them. Like, that's not a joke. That's legit. What's being said? Soul Eater. I've never watched Soul Eater. I asked someone to draw my OC who obviously has breasts and says female pretty big, and they refer to her as a he. I feel like that would be like if someone called Lily a boy just because she has a peen. Even though she has like First off, giant boobs. Also, tiny waist, giant hips. Big, voluptuous eyelashes. She's beautiful, long, flowing hair. Like, if someone called her a boy, I'd be so angry. I draw my females with no boobs, but because it takes longer. Oh, that's a mood. Junebug, I don't draw with any, I mean, she's a plush. She's not supposed to have anything like that. Kikwi, she's a big, fat, curvy girl. Amai, she's like pear-shaped, so she's got, little boobs, but like, thick thighs. And she's shaped like that because I plan on having her bodysuit skin tight, and that's how I'm shaped. I'm like when Squidward ate too many Krabby Patties, that's how I'm shaped. Do you know the anime Lupin the Third? No, I do not. Ooh, I talked about how Tana filmed a dead body and got no backlash for it, and I've been getting DMs all day being like, where's the video? Fun fact, Tana filmed a dead body. It was an OD, and no one cared. Literally no one cared. And I think it was just because it wasn't like as shocking as the Logan Paul dead body, because you know the Logan Paul dead body was you know, it was a suicide. It was hanged, so it was like, you know, it was more shocking. The dead body that Tana filmed, it looked like an OD, just like in the bathroom at the beach. So it was like, you know, it just looked like a dude sleeping in a bathroom, and I feel like that's why it didn't get as much attention, but it should have, because she literally posted a video of a dead body. It was like, we just went for a day at the beach. Like, this could only happen to us. We went for a day at the beach, and we had to save a dead dude, and it was like, God, I hate her so much. You know what I hate her so much is because I think she's a month older than me, and she's millions of dollars, and that infuriates me because, like, okay, James Charles, I'm fine that he's younger than me and has, you know, and is rich, because he has a talent. He's an incredible makeup artist, and at first I was really angry because, like, obviously, like, I shouldn't be angry about these things, but I'm just like, at first I was angry because he got his fame from lying, but now I do think he deserves it because he's a very, very talented makeup artist. I do think that he handled things very poorly in the beginning of his career, but, you know, he's a kid. What are you gonna do? But Tana got famous from lying and embellishing the truth. She's only famous because she's a thought. She literally did a Halloween costume, a thought Halloween costume of JoJo Siwa, an actual 15-year-old. Is that not normalizing pedophilia? Like, ew. And she got so much backlash for it. She goes, fine, I'll take it down. And then she still leaves it up. She took it down on Twitter, but left it up on Instagram. And she's like, JoJo said it was fine. I'm such good friends with her. She told me to do it. And it was like, okay, so you, a 19-year-old, are listening to what a 15-year-old is telling you to do? Okay, sure. I think the only reason Tana got famous is because she made that video about her stalker. And I think, just a conspiracy theory, I think at first the stalker story was true, but then she saw how popular it got and was like, ooh, I can ride this to fame, and started making stuff up. Because she started getting caught in her lies. Like when she was like, I got an email from my stalker, and started reading the story, and she was like, I paid so much money for plagiarism sites, but if you type in the first sentence of the story in Google, it comes up. And now she's promoting companies that are scamming. They took their photos from other companies. They took their terms of service from other companies, and they took their company slogan from another company, and she's promoting them. I don't know. Tana really baffles me because, like, TanaCon got written off. And it's crazy because they're like, people wrote it off because they're like, oh, she's young, she didn't know any better. It's like, she's an adult though. She should be held accountable. If she was underage, I understand why someone might be like, oh, she's a kid, she didn't know any better. She has done so much wrong, but she hasn't caught like any flack for it. She catches flack for it in the moment, but that's it. It's not like the Logan Paul thing where he filmed a dead body and he's gonna hear about it for the rest of his life. He doesn't have advertisers anymore. He doesn't have a lot. He's gonna hear about it forever and ever and ever. But Tana just keeps doing one bad thing after another, and she's not getting in trouble for any of it. She gets in trouble in the moment, but after, no one cares anymore. And that's so upsetting. It makes me so angry. It's like, why is she not? And like, with the TanaCon thing, I feel like the only reason she wasn't held responsible is because Shane made her look like the victim in her video when she clearly was in the wrong. It doesn't matter if that dumb other kid who is also, you know, in his early 20s, like my age, or a little bit older, just because he's the one who was the part of the company that was holding the convention doesn't mean that she's not at fault, doesn't put all the blame on her. It was TanaCon. Like, it's not like it was Michael Con, it was TanaCon. I don't know. Shane, his documentaries seem to, instead of telling the truth, and actually Matt Pat made a whole video about this on his Film Theories channel. Shane's docu-series first off, they drag on way too long. I think we can all agree on that. But instead of telling the truth like he says that they will, it's more like getting a redemption arc for the parties involved. And the thing is, by calling it a documentary, he has no obligation to tell the truth. Documentaries just have to, I don't know, Matt Pat explained it in his video. Go watch his video. But like, I love Shane Dawson, but at the same time, like, I don't know. There's just his content recently with the last Logan Paul series, or not Logan Paul, Jake Paul series. It made me angry. It made me really angry, because he advertised it as one thing. He actually took down the original trailer because as it was coming out, it wasn't what he advertised at all. Which I'm glad that he took down the original trailer so people weren't getting misled. But you know, people were hyped up for it. He hyped that up for a long time, and the fact that he was shooting and editing it in real time presented a lot of problems. For something that big, he should have shot and edited it, that's the hardest thing to say, all ahead of time, and then released it incrementally. Because editing it in real time just causes things to be pushed back and causes it to be dragged out even more. And it's just, that series just went on way too long. And it just was like, he was too easy on Jake Paul, because Jake Paul was like, oh, I think it's dumb if people think that I'm deliberately advertising to children. But meanwhile, he's been to so many business conventions and like spoken at panels about advertising to children and how big businesses can advertise to children and how he wants to become a big multi-company investor. And it's crazy that Shane didn't talk about any of that. Like, he has his whole Team 1000 thing, or what is it, edutainer? Is that what it is? No, what is it called? But he has this whole program where it's like a pyramid scheme, and it's like, you pay $7 to get in, and then you pay another $65 to learn how to be a successful social media influencer, obviously playing on the fact that these children want to be, you know, a social media influencer, which is so problematic nowadays because these kids are growing up being like, I want to be a YouTuber, which is like, we're in an age where it's both simultaneously impossible to become a social media influencer, but also the easiest thing ever. Joanna, oh god, what's her last name? Joanna something. She calls herself John Cena because that's what her name looks like. She got 1.3 million subscribers in like 3 months. It's insane. I mean, she's such a sweet like entertainer as well. I love her videos so much. She films them all on her phone, and like I love her content so much. I definitely go look her up if you haven't seen her videos already, because she just showed up in like everyone's recommended feeds all of a sudden and got blown up out of nowhere. But she's like not like she's not doing it to become YouTube famous. She just started uploading videos, and it's like she reminds me of how people used to upload, like how people's attitudes about YouTube used to be back in like under, you know, before like the mid 2000s hit, like 2013 and earlier. Back then, people didn't do YouTube for money. They just did it to upload fun content. And like the fact that people want to do YouTube nowadays just for the money is so upsetting. Like, I started doing YouTube videos just so I had a place to, actually, I started doing YouTube videos way back in 2013, and I'd upload speed draws, and just because I wanted to be a successful artist, and I was planning on going to art school, but that crashed and burned, so, and I was like, ooh, if I put my art out on the internet, people will see it and maybe hire me, or whatever. That was my thought, my train of thought, but then I just stopped doing that, and just, whatever. All those videos are, like, done and deleted, and whatever. And then I didn't upload for it, and then I started uploading free content because I was like, this is another place that I could maybe get business. It's another place I could interact with people and maybe meet new people, and that's literally the only reason I started uploading free content. Also, I had a lot of stupid ideas, and once mine shut down, and I was like, where am I going to put all these stupid ideas? And that's how this channel came to be. I've wanted to branch out from furry content for a long time, but I just don't know how, because I'm always scared that, and I know it shouldn't be about the views, but like nowadays it is, and I'm scared that if I start to make content that isn't furry centric, that I'm going to lose my viewership, and you know, my views are just going to go down the drain. Now, not that my views are like good to begin with. I have one video that has good views, and that's really it. My videos used to get way more views than they do now, and that was usually when I did rant videos. And I think I'm going to start doing rant videos more often, because I tried to do funny content, and my views literally went down the toilet, and I was like, why? These videos are so funny. My baking with Amae video is the funniest thing I've ever produced. Actually, no. My Why I Left the Furry Fandom video is the funniest thing I've ever produced, and I hate it so much, but it's so hilarious. I laugh every time I watch it. What was I saying? I was talking about my YouTube content. But like other videos I've made that I'm like, oh yeah, this will be funny. They don't get any views. So I'm like, okay. And then I made my Kira video, and I got so many people telling me, being like, ooh, I want you to make more videos like this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, because this is how I mean, just now I was just ranting about Tana. And it's like, I am so strongly opinionated. I don't know why I wasn't doing rant videos before. I just felt like they were so overdone on YouTube. But I'm gonna start doing rant videos more often, and not so much rant videos, but just videos where I'm passionate about a topic and I can talk about it. For instance, like my Why Not to Be a Plush Tutor video, my Is Poodling Bad video. Those are two great examples of videos I made because I had an opinion about a topic, and I felt like I had a lot of words on the topic. My video that I have coming out soon, my other Kin vs. Furries video, I had a lot of words on that topic, and so I'm able to speak on it. Whenever I sit down and either try to tell a story time video of like, oh, my craziest con experience or whatever, I can never get the words out. I usually just end up like being like, oh yeah, California, this happened, and then I just sit there. I'm like, what? Well, what did happen? Why can't I think about like, and it's not funny. And so I'm gonna stop trying to be funny, and I'm just gonna do rant videos. Because anytime something controversial happens in the fandom, I go off on my Instagram story, and I talk and talk and talk and talk. My Instagram story is like 8 billion years long. I'm sure people hate it, but I also know that people like when I go on rants because they're entertaining, and a lot of people seem to agree with my opinion, but they're just too scared to express that opinion. But I'm not. So like, I don't know. I was actually going to make a video on the This Is Life documentary about furries, but I decided not to because everyone else is, and I was like, I don't feel the need. I feel like if I talk about it, it's just gonna get, you know, either too personal, which I don't like getting personal in my YouTube videos, or it would just be the same thing as anyone else would say about it. So I decided not to. But if you want to know my opinion, I thought it was good. I wish there was queer representation. I was surprised that there wasn't, considering what this fandom is. How long are you going to stream? Until I feel that I want to stop. Sometimes I stream for 3 to 4 hours. Sometimes I stream for 40 minutes. Well, we're already past 40 minutes. We're at an hour and a half. But it depends. Depends on how I feel. Do this. I didn't think this through. I've gotten to the part where I have to tape up the back of the spike, and I've just realized I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I think I'm going to do him across. Yeah, that seems like the best method for this. And then just to secure them, I'll do some digging. Anyway, if you guys have any topics that you'd like me to talk about in videos, let me know right now. I was actually going to make a post on my community tab, which has suddenly disappeared from my YouTube app. I got an email saying that I had the community tab, and then it was on my YouTube app, and then I closed my YouTube app, and then I opened it back up, and it was gone. But I had posted something to my YouTube, or to my community tab, so I don't know if y'all saw that, if it exists still, but it's gone from my YouTube app, and that's frustrating because I wanted the community tab, but I don't. Actually, let me go back to that. Yeah, it's just gone. Let me go back to that email, see if I can get to it through there. Because I don't know if anyone responded to it. I doubt anyone did, but, what email was it on? Probably this one. Yeah, here we go. You should make videos of your process. That's what this is. That's literally what, this is. That's what my streams are, because I don't want to make a video because that would take too long, and I don't want to film for that long because I'd either forget or just whatever, but that's what my streams are for. But it's also so I can chat with y'all, because y'all are better than my Instagram audience. Oh yeah, people did see it. But it like disappeared from when I closed the YouTube app. Like if I open the YouTube app from the email where it says try the community tab, it's there. But then when I close the YouTube app, it's gone. It sucks. Let's make a post. What do you guys want? There we go. I posted something. Unfortunately for me, I decided to only tape a half these, and hopefully they are all the same size. That would suck if they aren't. If not, I'll just make it work. And that's actually a plus of doing these hollow spikes, is say if this one is just like a little bit smaller than this one, I can just squeeze this one a little bit when I put the fur on. You know? I really want to go to an anime convention. I haven't been to one in a really long time. I was supposed to go to AX last year, and I told my friends, like, hey, if you have a hotel room, let me know. I'll pay for a spot in the room and blah, 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 this and that. And just let me know. And they're like, okay. And then my friend was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to AX. And then he goes, never mind, I'm staying with these people instead. And I was like, okay, cool. It's not like I wanted to go or anything. Appreciate it. And then my other friend only went for one day, so she didn't have a hotel room. And I was like, okay, lit. Love it. Thank you. I was so angry because I was stuck at work because I ended up because I didn't get the time off because they never told me, and then once they did tell me, it was last minute. But like, I don't know, it made me angry. Obviously, I feel like anyone would be angry in that situation. I'm sure anyone's angry. Hey Bug, I use plastic wrap to cover the foam when to prevent it. Is that dumb? Yeah, that's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. If you're really worried about your tape ripping the foam apart, go like this, and then take it off, and now it's less sticky. I've never had a problem with it ripping the foam unless I leave the duct tape on for an excess amount of time. Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. The foam shouldn't rip. I mean, obviously don't use like Gorilla Tape. That's gonna rip the foam. But if you just use regular duct tape, you should be fine. Like regular stuff. Don't use masking tape. It doesn't stick. Which, you know, some people might be like, oh, but that's better. No, it's not, because you want it to stick. I need to eat, but I don't want to eat. This is actually working out really well, the spikes. Although that's not really a spike anymore. Gonna be hard because ooh, you know what? Okay, well that's literally not where I wanted that to go. I was thinking about making Zenyatta cosplay but as a wolf. I don't know who Zenyatta is, so I have no input. Personally, and you don't, obviously this is just my opinion, but I think it's really cringy when people take an anime character and turn it into a fursuit or a furry character. It's like I understand that you're a furry, but if you want to cosplay that character, just cosplay the character. It's in all honesty, it'd be more expensive to make a fursuit of the character. What's in your face? Oh, face. It'd be more expensive to make a cosplay. No, to make a fursuit of the character than if you just made a regular cosplay. Like I saw someone who had a Dobby character, and I was like, why? Why would you do that? Like, I don't get it. Like, there's someone who commissioned, I think it was Mango Island, for Deku and Bakugo Kigu's, but like as dogs. And I was like, why? Why would you do that? Like, that's why if I'm going to make a Fursuit cosplay, it's going to be of a thing that can be a fursuit. Or like, I'm going to, ooh, that almost stabbed me. I plan on making a Ninetales Fox fursuit in the future, but that's because it's a cosplay, not a fursuit. I really also want to make Akamaru, just because I can. And something I would really love to do is, which for a bunch of the bijous, it would be kind of hard. But I want to make a fursuit of each bijou, which would be 9 whole fursuits. But you know, for all y'all out there that don't know Naruto, which is the tailed beasts, so there would be Shukaku, who would be easy to make because he's like an animal. Matatabi, who would be easy because she's a tiger. Shukaku is a tanuki, so he's like a raccoon dog. What's the Isobu would be hard. He's a turtle, but he's got that weird shell thing, and he only has one eye. Who's for Son Goku? He would be easy because he's a monkey, but also I've never made a monkey, so I feel like that would also be hard. But also his mouth is so weird. It's like a butthole in there. 5. Who's 5? 5 is the horse, huh? What's its name? I can't remember. The Jinchuriki is Han. But I don't know the can't remember the, it's like a horse, but it's not a horse. It's got like a weird, like, regular maw. It's, I don't know. But it's white with like yellow tips. 6 is Saiken, which is the gooey slug one, which would be like so hard to make a fursuit. 7 is Chome, which is the bug, which I don't even think it has a face. If it does, I've never seen it. 8 is what's his name? Like Yuki? Yeah, that's 8 Tails, which is Killer Bees. And then obviously Kurama. I got a plush suit. And you almost died from dehydration. That's not how you spell dehydration at all. Fursuit pet peeves, when people don't brush their suits, but also when people tell someone to brush their suit when it's obviously just like Punky Muppet. For instance, oh no, don't assault me, Tokoyami. For instance, oh, you're so rude. Okay, for instance, she is made out of Lux Jag, which is the same as Punky Muppet. I brushed her yesterday, but it doesn't look like I've brushed her in like 3 weeks. But I really hate when people are like, brush your suit, you have a dirty suit, and it's like, no, it's just the kind of fur it is. Don't say that. I also really hate when the eyes are going 2 different directions. I don't mind so much when they're cross-eyed, but when they're going like slightly 2 different directions, it makes me so. On my, not my last commission suit, but the commission suit before that, the eyes, when I installed them, they were slightly going in different directions. I was like, oh no. And so I just made the stars in the eyes bigger so they didn't go in different directions, so they're looking straight forward. I was like, it's like, please don't do it. Because that's like the worst thing ever when the eyes go into different directions. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of pet peeves when it comes to fursuits because it's like, it's such a subjective. No. Yeah. No. Yeah, it's such a subjective thing. Favorite fursuit makers. Lily's maker. Damien's maker. Which I'm not gonna say who because Damien's a secret technically, but like, it's not a secret that I'm getting a suit of him, but it's a secret who's making him and what he is gonna look like. But yeah, Lily's makers. Oh my god, I'm so excited. They've posted their most recent suits they've made, and I'm so pumped. I'm just getting ahead of Lily, but who else do I like? I really like Skypro, which I feel like is a very basic answer. I was actually going to commission them for Lily, but I was like, I don't want to shell out $3,000 plus for Lily right now. Java Hogs is another fave. I really like them. I was planning on commissioning them for Lily last year, but again, I was like, they actually gave me a huge discount. They're like, I want to make this suit, but then I ended up changing her design, and I was like, I'm sorry. I don't really like a lot of mainstream makers. I really want to get, the reason I don't have Junebug is because I really want to save up and then get her made by Don't Hug Cacti. I really, really like the way their plush suits are. I feel like she would look really cute in their style as well because they have such a simplistic style. I feel like it would work really well for a plush suit. So I want to save that for that, but I probably will also make, I'll probably just commission ahead of her and then make her body myself, but who knows what'll happen. Someone that is called Grinning Hemlock on Instagram. They have such like a gnarly suit style, and I love it so much. I love like gnarly suit styles. Tumult or what's his Fleece Rot. I really like his stuff too. I really want a Fleece Rot in the future. Ideally, if I were to get Phlegm made by someone, it would be Fleece Rot. I mean, I know it's mean, but I don't like when little kids get fursuits because they get really annoying. You're a little kid. What are you talking about? But it's just them getting excited. I get excited when I'm so annoying when I get a fursuit. Like, literally, I'm the most annoying thing ever. I scream for literally 4 days straight until I get over it. And then actually, fun fact, when I first get a new suit, I usually sleep with the heads in my bed. If it's just a head or whatever. I've never seen a 5-year-old with a suit. I've seen, like, children, like, little kids with, like, Lava Fox, and that's really it. Or, like, Spirit Halloween heads. But I've never seen, like, little kids with a fursuit, really. Because usually parents don't want to dish out a couple $1,000s or a couple $100 at least. So they just buy their kids the minimum. But yeah, every time I get a new suit, I sleep with them in my bed because I love them so much until I get over them. And then I just, all of my heads sit on this chair piled up until they topple over, and then they either move to the desk or they just sit on the floor. I used to have a guitar in the corner, and they used to sit totem poled up on there until it started giving me really bad hallucinations, and I couldn't have them up there anymore. Well, 5-year-olds shouldn't be fursuiting in the first place. I agree. 5-year-olds don't have, like, the right body endurance to fursuit. They shouldn't. First of all, they're snotty and disgusting, but also they don't have, like, the heat tolerance to be in a fursuit. My older brother, the one who dragged me into this whole new lifestyle, is terrified of the eyes in general. I I hate how kids have fursuits then go on stage to do a show and all you can hear are telephone squeaks. I mean, yeah. You're actually going to grow out of it automatically. Probably a lot of health issues, and why would you dress up a kid in a fursuit? Yeah, that's very true. Like, I understand if the kid's, like, 8 plus, because then, an 8-year-old they have their own thoughts, they can have their own, like, interests and hobbies, but anything younger than that, it's all, based on the parent. Like, for instance, Fur Fancy, they're a fursuit maker. For Halloween, they just had a baby last year, and for Halloween, they dressed up their kid in, like, a fursuit, per se. It's like they made, like, a little dog costume for their kid, and it's, oh my god, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. But it's not like, it was for a Halloween costume. His face was completely exposed. But also, she's not going to force her kid to be a furry, or at least I hope not. I mean, she's a fursuit maker, but, like, I hope that she's not going to be like, okay, mom's a furry, so you're going to be a furry too. If I ever, get a kid and, I'm still a furry at that point, I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm a furry, so you're going to be a furry too. Because that's like, forcing your kid to do sports or do whatever, which I really hate. I really hate when parents force their kids to do stuff like that. I don't understand the lifestyle, like, when people are like, oh, I really want to cut my hair, but my parents won't let me. Like, I remember I was talking to someone a little while ago, like a couple of years ago, actually, but they were like, they were 17. Like, they had a car and everything. They bought their own car, but their parents wouldn't let them get a certain haircut. And he was a cis male, and they wouldn't let him get a fade up the side, where, like, a 1 or 0 up to, like, a 2. And I was like, you bought your own car, but your parents won't let you get a certain haircut? What? And, like, I just don't understand it, because I've always just done what I wanted, obviously, within restrictions, not like I'm just going on, like, murdering sprees or anything, but, like, my parents never, like, really cared what I did with my own self. Like, it's like, I just don't get it. It really baffles me when parents are so controlling over their kids that they have to control every aspect of their life. Like, you can't wear that. Oh, you can't wear makeup until you're this age. You can't do this. You can't do that. And it's like, well, why not? Why are you prohibiting your kid from experiencing this? Let your kid embarrass themselves. Let your kid learn for themselves that so it's okay to be weird, first off, and how are we gonna do this? And that, I don't know, it just, like, for instance, when the first time I wanted to dye my hair, my mom was like, no, and my dad was like, well, if it looks bad, just shave your head and it'll grow back. And I was like, yeah. And my mom was like, and I was like, I didn't want to do it a crazy color. I just wanted to do it a darker red, because my current red is, like, dumb. And because I have a lot of silver hair, it looks dumb and it doesn't look ginger. And I was like, I want to look more ginger. I don't know why I'd want that, but it was really dark red for a long time. And it looked good on me, though, because I have such fair skin that darker hair colors look nice on me. Yeah, it's like obviously my mom's not gonna be like, okay, you're 13, you can get a tattoo or whatever. She still doesn't approve of tattoos, just because she has a tattoo on her leg that she thought said dragon, but it says turtle, because she walked into a tattoo shop and was like, I want that one. Because it's like she doesn't seem to understand the concept that you can design your own tattoos and you don't just have to point at a book on a wall. Public spanking should be allowed. It absolutely should not be. Don't hit your kids. And my mom also has a tramp stamp of a dragon, and she regrets that. And she thinks that if I were to get a tattoo, despite me explaining why I want a tattoo, she thinks that I would regret it, even though I already have 2 of them that she doesn't technically know about. But I think she's figured this one out, because I remember her asking me about it, and she's like, what's that? And I was like, marker. She was like, oh, okay. And it's still here 6 months later. I'm sure she's figured it out, but it's so tiny. It's just like a little heart. Who cares? And my shark is, you can't even see it. So, my sister knows about my shark. But what are you doing? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I don't understand when I just don't understand why parents are so controlling. Like I understand setting boundaries, but why be so controlling? Even if my parents told me not to do something, if I wanted to do it, I'd do it anyway. I think that's, I mean, I'm a very defiant person. If someone tells me to do something, even if I know I should do it, I'm not going to do it. For instance, when you know, it's that time of the month that I need a shower, because I shower once a month. That's not true, but I don't shower as often as a normal human being because I have no reason to, because I don't leave the house. And so, like, my mom would be like, you need a shower. And I'm like, well, just because you said that, I'm not going to shower for another 3 months. It's like, I don't know why I'm like that, but it's just the way I am, and I can't control it. But, you know, if someone tells me to do something, I will automatically not do it. Or if someone tells me to do something that they're like, don't do that, I'm like, I'm going to do it. And that's a really bad character trait. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I'm not a parent. I'm not telling people how to parent kids, but like, I don't know. You know? That was a really long rant about absolutely nothing whatsoever. What are people saying? I'm sorry. Any drone creators here on your channel? No. We're a bunch of furries. Off-topic drop crotch suits? I approve. Flem is gonna be a drop crotch suit. Here's just the first drawing that I did of him. His hair color is wrong, but yeah. I actually started making him, and I actually cut apart the foam and started using it for someone else. But when I started making him, I patterned the foam to come all the way down to here for the, like, where the digi ends. He gonna be thick. Because I draw him as a big, nasty, fat boy, so I want him to have, like, he's gonna be so hard to walk in, but, he's gonna be, like, tight on top, and then have, like, a big belly, but I also am gonna have a pouch, because he's an opossum, but in that pouch, instead of being, like, fun stuff, there's gonna be guts. I'm gonna make plush guts and put them in his pouch, so I can open them up, be like, hey, you want some? Be a bunch of guts. Which is why I'm going to make him myself and not commission him, because I feel like that would be really hard to explain to a fursuit maker. Once I was watching a furry vid and a dog full suit came on, and all I can hear from them was squeak, squeak, squeak. Why is a dog doing a Dutch Angel Dragon impression? Yeah, I really hate when people are dog suits and they squeak. A lot of people are actually really shy and are mainly yeah, that's very true. Kid broke firelight on the wall. What are you talking about? How do you learn to walk in drop crotch and plush suits? You waddle. What's your favorite animal? A manatee. Yelling at them would be verbal abuse. Parents can't parent anymore. That's very true. I mean, there's a very fine line between yelling and like being strict, and I don't think a parent needs to yell. I think that they should be stern with their words, but I don't think a parent should need to yell, because yelling can cause, you know, problems. Like you know, it can make a kid very scared of loud noises, of anytime anyone yells. Like, you know, you don't want your kid to be scared of yelling, then take them to a football game where everyone's yelling and then have them have a mental breakdown, you know. It's just not ideal because, you know, you want to take them to a fun sporting event and then them have a bad time. Because as someone who does have PTSD about yelling, I mean, it's not just the act of yelling, because I'm a very loud person, but, like, loud noises in general, like, whenever I'm in a space where there's loud noises, I get overwhelmed, and I'll usually start to cry, just for no reason. Like, movie theaters, I love going to movies, but I can't handle trailers, because, especially action trailers, because they're too loud, and they're just too much, and I can't handle it. My body just, like, doesn't know how to handle it, so I just start freaking out, and I'll just start crying. Which is why I always go to movies alone. Well, also because I don't have friends, but, like, yeah, I can't handle that. I also can't handle sitting next to people in movies, especially kids. When my sister was here in August, we went to see Christopher Robin as a family, and there was a kid sitting next to me, and she was just fidgeting so much, and it was giving me an anxiety attack, and I went outside, and the movie theater was at the mall, and I went outside and started crying. Just, like, out in the open, because I didn't know what are we talking about? Anxiety. Me breaking down in movie theaters. The only reason I've ever cried in a movie theater isn't because the movie's sad, it's because it's loud and I'm scared. But legitimately, I started crying because this kid next to me, she was, oh my god, she kept standing up and then taking a sip of her drink, then sitting back down, then eating popcorn, then putting the popcorn on the ground, then reaching over her sister next to her and getting candy from her mom, and then eating candy, and then putting that on the ground. Oh my god, it's just so much moving, and I couldn't handle it because, like, I just couldn't handle it, and I had a big water bottle, and my parents were, like, happily watching the movie, and so was my sister, and I kept looking at the kid, and then, like, I started, like, hyperventilating, and I just picked up the water bottle and sprinted out of there, and then I was, like, sitting in the, and I was like, I want to go home, I need to go home, but I didn't have enough money for an Uber, and my friend was like, I'll be there in half an hour, and I was like, well, by then the movie's gonna be over, but, and he was like, no, but I'll help, and he's like, I'm on my way from LA, and then I was like, well, it's too late now, we go in, and he was like, okay, but I would have helped, and I was like, I know, I appreciate that, but I just couldn't handle it. It was so much. But yeah, I sat outside and I just started sobbing. And there's like, cause there's outside the, cause like I said, it's at the mall, and outside it's oh cool, thank you Stutter for existing again. There's like tables outside, cause it's like a partially outdoor mall, and what was I talking about? I have no idea. Anyway, I don't like kids just in general. You're a kid. What are you talking about? Oh no. How am I gonna do this? These are gonna be, oh my god. Political things. Only time I watched at a movie before it ended was Saw 3 or 4. The only good Saw movie was the first one. All the rest was just like, it's good! You're a teen? Barely. Mods, because why not? Boom! I gotta plug my iPad in. I forgot. I was like going on a rant before. When I got the 10% notification. Oh yes, and now my Apple Pencil as well. I don't care though. It's just my Apple Pencil. Oh jeez. Finally caught your stream. I'm so happy. Love your work. Thank you. I don't want kids. They just annoy the heck out of me. I can't with kids. That's a mood. In my last relationship, we were both like, kids are the worst. But then, Jesus, there's a spider on my leg. But I was like, at the same time, I was like, you know, I like in the future, like when I'm an adult, I'm an adult now, but like when I'm an actual adult, I would probably. Oh, God, it feels like there's bugs all over my leg now. But in the future, when I'm like an actual when I'm an actual adult, I feel like I would want to adopt kids because first off, not enough kids get adopted. I feel like most like gay relationships nowadays just get a surrogate, and like, why make a new life when you can just adopt one of the lives that are less fortunate? What? I don't get that. But I feel like I would only get one kid. I don't think I could handle two. But I feel like I'd also adopt an older kid because I can't handle babies. That's like them constantly throwing up. Like I said, I'm emetophobic. That's a big no for me. Changing poopy diapers? No, thank you. But I'd still deal with all that like with an older kid too. Because like, what if they poop their pants? I don't want to deal with that. And like, I understand that like once you have a kid, your perspective on everything is different. Like, you know, that stuff wouldn't bother you anymore. But it's like, what about gay couples adopting? I literally just said that. I said I feel like gay couples nowadays mostly just use surrogates rather than adopting. I don't know. I feel like I would want a kid eventually, but like way down the line. Obviously, I'm turning 20 next month. I don't want a kid anytime soon. That's why I don't. Oh God, I just punched myself in the face. Did you see that? I hope you saw that. I don't understand how people are my age and getting pregnant. Like, some people are on their second kid already. Like, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? But this is also coming from the incel, so like, I'm an incel in like the least nasty way possible, by the way. Because I now just called myself that, and it has such a negative connotation. America is the leading country with teen pregnancies. I know, and I'm pretty sure the second country is well, actually, I'm sure there's a lot of countries, but like I know that like Britain is they have a lot, and like I feel like British kids, like, they get pregnant way earlier. Like my cousin, when I met her like way back in 2010, she was 15 at the time, and she had an abortion already, and I was like, you're 15. What are you doing? I was like 11 at the time. I was like, nasty. And she was like drinking all the time, and she was like, I was like, yeah, I understand it's England, but like, what are you doing? Like, you're such a chav. Stop it, you nasty. Chav is like the English version of a thought, by the way. It's like, what? Oh, stop being so chavvy, you nasty. It's like ghetto, almost, like ratchet. Which most of my family is very chavvy, unfortunately. But they're also Northerners, so it's like a given. Alright, I know someone asked me to show the camera what I'm working on, but I was just trying to finish up the tape. It's Tokoyami. Why does his face look so wide? This is really bothering me. That I think it's just because this fur isn't trimmed, but it's trimmed on this side. But his face looks so wide, and I hate it. He'll look proportionate though once he's on a body and not like just existing. I don't see why teens have sex at that age too. I don't get it. But I get it. I mean, most people, or not most, a lot of people, it's like there's the whole stigma of like, oh, if you lose your virginity after you're 18 or after you graduate high school, you're a loser, and it's like that's such a horrible stigma because it's just perpetuating, you know, the teen pregnancy issue. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the whole teen pregnancy issue is because, in America, is at least, is because of the lack of sex ed in America. I guarantee that none of you in this stream right now got proper sex ed. You probably had a health class, like one health class on it, probably got told about HIV, and that's really it. And then you learned about the reproductive organs in 7th grade science class, and that's pretty much it. But, like, we don't have proper sex education because parents deem it inappropriate. But it's appropriate nowadays to teach kids how to plug bullet wounds, but not sex education. Seems a little backwards. Yes, sex ed was literally just don't have sex with it. Yeah, exactly. In my school, it was in 5th grade, like our last health class of the year, boys and girls got split into 2 groups. Girls watched a video about a girl getting her period. The boys watched a video about just how boys grow body hair and stink. That's literally it. They didn't learn about, like, boners or anything. They just learned about how boys get hairy and they smell bad. That's it. And girls were like, well, you start to bleed excessively every single month, and you have to worry about it, and it's painful, and it makes you want to die, but also, you have to stick stuff up inside you to make it stop, or you can put stuff in your underwear to make it stop, but that's pretty gross. And, like, literally, the video was, calling pads gross, rather than being like, it's okay to use any feminine product you need. It was like, oh, but that's the less, like, that a tampon is the less nasty way. And it's like, why would you tell this to 5th graders who are probably gonna bleed once and then try to shove something up there, which is not okay. not okay. But and then that was it. Then in 7th grade we got taught about reproductive organs, and then 8th grade health class. We learned about STIs, and actually the guy, it wasn't even the teacher that taught us, someone from the Planned Parenthood came and taught us. My mom actually worked with him a couple times. His name was Anthony. He was a wonderful gay man, and he made up songs about each STD, which was amazing. Yeah, that's literally all we learned. We didn't learn about obviously, when the guy from Planned Parenthood came, he was also like, safe sex, and he was like, you know, if you come to Planned Parenthood, you can get free condoms, and that was it. That was it. That was all we learned. We learned more about how smoking is bad. Literally 3 years of the health class that I took in middle school, all that smoking was bad. Literally, that's it. And how bones regenerate, and that's it. That's literally it. My friend didn't know what I had some traumatic experiences in middle school, so I was pretty sexually charged, unfortunately. But my friend didn't know, like, really what, like my friend knew, like, that boys had different parts than girls, but she didn't know, like, what they did. She didn't really know what a boner was. She didn't know what cum was. And I was talking about it, and I made a joke about it. She goes, what's that? And I was like, we are in 7th grade. You should know at least a little bit about that. But nowadays, it's all 7th graders that are like making these jokes online. And it's like, okay, well, okay. What is going on? I don't know. I don't know. I don't see why it's okay to, my parents told me about sex when I was 10. Same, around there. Like, my mom, like, I remember I was making food in the kitchen, and then my mom's like, do you know how you were made? And I was like, yeah, you were pregnant, then I was born. She goes, well, actually, your dad, blah, blah. I was like, I literally, I disassociated. I left this planet until she was done talking. And then I was like, okay. I remember starting screaming too. I was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. I don't, But it's like, I don't, like, it's such a, in America, it's such a taboo thing, and it's such like, and it's such a taboo thing because it stems from when this country was largely Christian, or Catholic, or whatever. When this country was largely religious back in the colony days. You know, it was taboo to have any relations with anyone like that. It was, you know, you keep it behind closed doors and that's it. So, like, I don't know. I feel like, you know, it's 2018. People should be more open about it, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be talked about all the time. Like, we all know that one person in school that would be excessive about it. Like, I had a friend, and his dad was a guitar player for a famous band, and so he was rich, and so he had very much so the rock star lifestyle, which doesn't exist anymore, but, like, you know, 80s hairband lifestyle. That's what he, you know, wanted his life to be. So he's like, oh, like, and so he would talk about it all the time. And so when he did lose his virginity, he took us out to frozen yogurt and told us about it. And we're like, Michael, we don't care. Good for you that you finally did it, but, like, we didn't need to know in you know, complete gross detail. Congratulations. You did that thing that I guess you do, you know, at least once in your life, maybe. If you do it, good for you. Like, I don't care. But he treated us to frozen yogurt just to tell us. Like, literally, he bought us. It was a time and a half. It really was. I was like, okay, And my other friend who was very ace at the time, she was very uncomfortable. I actually wasn't ace at the time. Fun fact, I wasn't ace up until, like, 4 months ago. I don't know why. It just happened one day. One day, I was scrolling through my Twitter, which used to be an 80 Twitter, and I was like, that thing that would usually make me feel things makes me feel nothing. And I was like, maybe it's just how I feel right now. And then that just perpetuated for 4 months. And here we are. So at least No Nut November is the easiest thing for me. Okay, let me start taking the tape off of this. It's like, that's nice to me, that's true. That's the kid in school that gets anything he wants. No, not at all. I went to a really large high school, so there was no one like that. Why did that happen? I just tried to rip off just such a big piece. Okay, whatever. That's fine. Alright, now I gotta pattern this. Okay, so I think the spikes should come like this way. So the fur converges on itself. I mean, it's short pile fur, so it's like not gonna. Because I was thinking about using long pile fur so I could, like, spike it, but I'm like, I feel like it'd look too fluffy if it was long pile fur, so I did short pile fur, which I think was the best choice. I feel like fleece would have been an even better choice, but also I didn't want to do an entire head into fleece, because that's nasty. Because he doesn't look fluffy, he doesn't look feathery, he just is spiky. I don't know if it's glitchy for you guys, but my thing is so glitchy right now. It keeps saying reconnecting, and like it's so laggy on my end. So I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now. But it's being dumb on my end. It's not why is it doing this on my end? Oh, how annoying. It's really laggy though, because I said that quite a while ago, and now you guys are responding. And by quite a while ago, I mean like, you know, quite a while ago in seconds, as opposed to how it usually is. Well, I'm just gonna have to deal with this reconnecting thing right here, which is gonna be annoying. But okay. I don't know what I was talking about. I don't think I was actually talking about anything. I think I had finished my statement. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna label these just so I don't lose track of them. I'm really hungry. You know what? I'm probably I'm like torn because usually I'm actually I'm really torn. I'm probably actually not going. No, I know I'll lose pieces if I cut out the fur, and I know I'll lose pieces if I cut out the duct tape. So I think I'm just gonna pattern it and then end the stream because I'm so hungry. I need to eat, and I'm not gonna eat on stream because like ew. Okay, and I'm just gonna number all these and do all that fun stuff. Alright, so starting from the front, so one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I think that's all the pieces. 13 pieces of spikes. And actually, there's going to be 26 pieces of spikes because this gets duplicated onto this side. Oh boy, I'm going to kill myself. Oh, he's going to look so good. I'm so excited. Oh. What are people saying to me? Have you ever had a dream where it's so realistic that you age and go on? No, I don't dream. Fun fact about me, when I do dream, that's how I know I actually get a good night's rest. But usually when I dream, it's like weird because I don't dream. I wake up and turn off my alarm and lay in bed and accidentally fall asleep. And dream that I do my morning routine. That actually happens. People actually do that. I used to dream when I was younger, but now I don't anymore. I think it's because I used to have night terrors, but I don't remember. I actually have sleep anxiety. And it's probably because I used to have night terrors, or it's probably because I hallucinate. So like the whole process of like starting to go to sleep means hallucination. So I'm like, okay, never gonna do that. Anyway, I said, what is in your face? Oh, it's styrofoam. I'm gonna go to sleep. Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna eat then go to sleep. Okay. Why won't it let me see the chat? There we go. Okay, I'm done the stream. Goodbye.